Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 6:27 a.m. Friday, September the 19th. I hope you're having a great start to your Friday morning, one day away from the weekend. I do have my big blue mug of coffee. Blue, do you want to come up here with me? Come on, jump up. Come on, come on. This is my cat, Blue. He's hanging out with me today, right, Blue? He wants to be part of the video. Look at that. Hey, isn't he handsome? Yeah, he comes up here and he wants to sit on my lap. I'm going to do something different today. I thought about talking about Parliament and the return of government this week in Canada, but what's the point? I see these young people, they sit all day long watching what's going on in Parliament. They watch Question Period, which accomplishes nothing. Pierre Poilievre complaining about the same stuff he was complaining about a year ago when Trudeau was there. A different person there now gaslighting you about how great your life is. Is your life any better now that government's back? Now that Parliament's back, now that we have these ridiculous sessions every day where they ask questions and get no answers, is it any better? Look at this headline. Goldstein, Trudeau era featured worst economic growth since Great Depression, study says. While Trudeau was boasting about strong economic growth, average Canadian standard of living was plummeting. Do you expect anything better from the Liberal Party? What I expect is people to vote out this type of mediocrity, but they don't. They continue to support this government, saying we're the greatest country in the world, and it's a mediocre country with a mediocre parliament, with mediocre parties running the government. Nothing gets better. How's the cost of living working out for you, folks? This is what I get. What's the point? So today I'm doing something different. I've been up for 3 hours, since 3:30 this morning, putting these clips together, finding all these clips. It's been a remarkable week, folks. The Charlie Kirk assassination has changed everything. People are thinking differently right now. The left is complaining about it getting canceled right now. Free speech is trending on Twitter because all of a sudden the left that has been canceling the right for years for having pretty common opinions are concerned that they're losing their jobs because they're celebrating the death of a man and thinking other people should die as well. This is where we are in society. So these are not all the best clips, but some of them on the internet regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination. These are people you might know, and these are just average people with opinions talking about Charlie Kirk online. And what inspired me to do this today is a tweet that I had on this channel a couple of days ago from Count Dankula. The irony of people crying about losing their jobs over their speech because they said spiteful things about a man who lost his life over his speech is a pretty effing funny turn of events. That's what inspired this video today. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be back to wrap things up in a moment.
There is a fundamental difference between the cancel culture that the left engages in and the quote-unquote canceling that the right is doing in the wake of Charlie's assassination and the left's celebration of it. The difference is that the left will cancel you for saying objectively true, good, and normal things. To the extent that the right cancels you, it'll be for saying objectively abhorrent, perverse, and sick things.
I'm desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
The rhetoric they say every day when they accuse us of being Nazis or fascists or far right, they say this so that, as you've already pointed out, when the violence happens, no one likes a Nazi, right? But let me add this. I think the reality now that I've unfortunately had to deal with, that we are all seeing, is that this man who shot Charlie was much closer to mainstream Democrat than any of us wanted to believe. I woke up to posts on Instagram from people that I thought were my friends that I have known for years. And mind you, they're liberal, but I always considered them to be moderate liberals, not particularly active. And they're posting messages saying Charlie deserved it.
I just want to remind everybody that what you are witnessing right now is not cancel culture. No. What you are witnessing right now is consequence culture, accountability culture. Those two words are foreign to the vocabularies of the other people on the other side of the aisle from me. There has been no consequence. There has been no accountability for horrible rhetoric or blatant lies that have been told.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
A friendly reminder for the crowd that is yelling that their First Amendment is being infringed upon. What the First Amendment is there for is to protect you from your government. Your employer or educational institution who probably has a code of conduct or morality clause can absolutely expel you, terminate you for the rhetoric that you say out loud or on the internet.
Now, here's my question. Wouldn't you expect Trump's extreme rhetoric to influence conservatives to attack liberals? How in the world does his extreme rhetoric have only one directional cause, which is people attacking conservatives? That's not very good extreme rhetoric if the only thing it does is get you attacked.
To say I believe children should not be allowed to have gender surgeries before 18, that is an attempt, right or wrong, doesn't matter which side you are, that is an attempt to protect life, to protect children, and guide society. It's entering a debate about the role of medicine, the right of parents, and the boundaries of childhood. That's what that is about. To say Charlie Kirk's assassination is a good thing, that's not debate. That's not even an idea. That's rejoicing in violence. It's glorifying death. There's no place in a civil society for that kind of stuff. There's not.
Let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. First of all, what did you make of his comments? And then we'll get to the debate.
I think his comments were disgraceful. You know, he claims to be a comedian, but I've never heard this guy tell a joke in my life. And then the Democrats are saying, well, Jimmy Kimmel's getting fired for a joke. That is not true. Out of his comments, what was supposed to be the punchline? What was supposed to be the humorous part? He just straight up lied about Charlie Kirk. He said Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA guy. He wasn't a MAGA guy. He was a far leftist who was in love with transgender people. It was a total lefty. He was a foot soldier of the Democrat Party, and he just killed my friend.
Charlie Kirk lived under a cloud just as I have. It's the reason that I stopped doing Change My Minds, where there were 12 felonious assaults, attempts at battery, and attempts on my life, and I know quite a few, and many I don't, of Charlie Kirk. I want to be clear. I want those on the left to speak freely and to be able to host their events with minimal security as they do now for the rest of their lives. Just as surely, I want them to be deathly terrified of showing up and acting with the increasing violence as they have at our events.
What Charlie Kirk said were things like, there are two sexes. There are men and there are women. He said America is a tremendous country and he was enormously proud of it and an extraordinary patriot. Neither of these things were controversial until very, very recently. Charlie Kirk argued for biblical values, for Judeo-Christian values. That wasn't controversial until extremely recently. None of what Charlie Kirk argued for was in any way hateful. I wish, as I say, that people like Dowd, MSNBC, and many others realize that the hate has been so disproportionately coming from them. It's them who say that saying that America is a good country is somehow hateful. It's them that saying that there are two biological sexes is somehow hateful. No, it isn't. None of that was ever hateful. It was a statement of fact or of opinion.
This isn't freedom of the speech. This isn't cancel culture. This is Jimmy Kimmel isn't being successful enough right now, right here in time, for all these headaches to be worth it to keep him on the air.
When we are living in a society, we are living in a system where prominent social media platforms will allow a prominent streamer with millions of followers to go out and say, if you didn't want your friend dead, you shouldn't have voted for Trump. I got the message loud and clear, brother. I got it loud and clear. Maybe now Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, whoever else needs to say, if you are speaking terror with the intention to destroy people's lives and make them live in fear so that they will not express their political opinion, this is overt terror.
I brought something with me today that I thought was appropriate while I did the show.
that I would sit in front of Charlie's microphone. It was given to me after the death of Rush Limbaugh by his wife. It is Rush's golden microphone.
I thought that last clip with Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh's gold microphone was incredibly touching. I was a huge fan of Rush Limbaugh, and I cannot tell you how many times over the last year or so, leading up to the American election and after, I've thought, what would Rush think? Because I listen to Rush Limbaugh almost every day, and I miss him when it comes to his comments on the radio. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, really?